Really nicely put together, of course. The flash ult from Cuz is able to even out that trade. But T1 are just getting so much more around this map. Like you're saying, like Rascal's playing the weak side Scion, but for what benefit? For the rest of KT.
And like, if you had an Aphelios or a Jinx here that's self-sustainable on the bottom side, you're like, okay, it's going to scale up later on. And that's what we did see with the Scion. Was the Aphelios Jinx meta, where you're not actually vulnerable as either of those champions necessarily in a 2v2 or in a 2v3. You can kind of take care of yourself, or you'll take so many resources away you can make another play somewhere else. But unfortunately, like, he has to be babysat. Aiming has to be babysat by Cuz, which means the top side is just free in a winning matchup. And it's not because Owner's diving repeatedly, it's just because Zayas is playing it well. He's got the range, and oh man, this is disastrous. Another plate goes down, given over to Guma.
Guma usually could actually like open the store for like dining. You know, he's just got so many plates now. It is absurd. As this tower also ready to fall. You can see T1, they haven't taken any turrets yet, but there is like almost nothing left on the mid and top lane turret. Plates are going to fall down now, and when we get that money report, as far as the plates are concerned, you're going to see exactly where this T1 gold lead has come from. It's just them getting the shot. So many of these lanes, top lane especially. Yeah. This is the T1 that we've, come to expect. He's now Hex Splash, going to get channeled here by Cuz. He's going to be able to get the smite down, and he's got a Yuumi as well. Wallop is going to stop Zayas from being pulled back too far, but he's real dead, guys. Does manage to get the turret, so he can actually say worthy if he would like to, as the train is going to come on over and look to stop Faker here. A little bit of damage.
Notice that Zayas just casually takes a sip of coffee. He's like, yep, and unfortunately I wasn't able to finish my call at this moment in time, but I will take all of that for his current money, plus the plates I picked up. Call's about to complete. I'm going to have more money in my pocket. You guys just spent so many resources topside that mid is controlled by us, bottom is controlled by us, and it feels like one of those solo queue games. This is why top can be so miserable to play a solo queue. Where you're like, oh, I picked the weak side champion, but my team also has a weak side bot. But like, it's solo queue, and players are just going to pick the one tricks, and that's just how it is. And I'm playing Scion because I'm a Scion one trick. Rascal is not a Scion one trick, but his team hasn't been able to facilitate anything else on the other side of the map. And as a result, if you're not going to be able to dominate lane as this rise into Faker, your value is so low. Obviously, the bottom side Rumblr play didn't work out either. But he gets a turret here, picks up 450 extra gold. Unfortunately, Flash is not going to be able to get him outside of his ultimate here, so he will go down. If he is able to flash, then if the ult a little bit more to the left, gets away, it's like, oh my god value. But yeah, he will at least be punished there.
No, he will. So KT able to grab himself a kill lead. And honestly, the gold isn't ridiculous. So T1 do need to try and extend this ever further. You can see they do have large gold leads. They're just being ridiculous once again with his massive advantage he has over Rascal. Rascal's a Scion. He'll do his job no matter what. And it's about whether KT can actually find the team fights that this composition is looking for as this game goes on. I think the next one is going to be really telling, because if KT just can't out-fight T1, then this game could just fall flat on its face.
Yeah, I also think that they should be able to outfight T1 in this upcoming fight, because Zeri having one item here, and the otherwise great lead they have here with the Crowns on the rise, which I thought it was going to be Ludens, but looking at it again, like, he can live through so much. All the engage tools, so the follow-up damage won't actually hurt him as much as the low-range Aphelios here. Without two items here, Guma doesn't feel great with his Gale Force. Like, I think T1 should be willing to give this one up. They're not. They're going to fight for it. Baker's in a good spot here. Has his flash. We know what he can do with that flash taunt.
They've done a lot of damage to this Drake already. It will be secured, but can KT find the team fight? Faker on a ward right now, but the rest of T1 will just evacuate the area. Realm Warp's going to come down. Zayas is likely just going to be the sacrificial Gnar here, and he will. That's a kill over to aiming, though, and KT are probably pretty happy with that situation.
Yeah, that's actually pretty massive for them. But T1 have also maintained great parity now, which is one way. Okay, hold on.
All right, that is a big old flash and pale, but Cuz can just go absolutely nowhere. The hook from Carrier was too good, and that means the Skarner will go down immediately. Rascal's still trying to run at them, but he's just going to find no value. And Cuz, unfortunately, has just looked a little bit silly this series.
I think in game one, I liked a lot of what he did in the early game. He got aiming that kill. This game, obviously hasn't been able to maintain the control we would have liked. Didn't actually help Rascal out. This play, in particular, was very silly because he's doing this into a comp that has taunt. Like, it has so much heal. Yeah, I mean, we'll watch it again because we're going to go back to this fight for if T1 are able to evacuate. They give up Zayas here, and yeah, it's very good to kill. but T1 get Drake parity, so it's not like KT can say, well, the game is just longer now. We're going to have to very scale up. Like, trade off from both sides here, but I like this from T1. As this was Keria here, just in position to deny it. Look at Skarner coming over. It's hooked. And then, like, there's taunt, like, Melios doesn't care. Like, where's the fall damage? Aiming is nowhere near. Like, this is just very poorly coordinated from KT, as well as Keria, of course, having a chance.
I think, yeah, Keria just straight up outplayed because he read the flash, managed to get the hook in the air, and then Flame makes life so hard for the Skarner. It felt like it was the opposite impale situation, as, you know, he impales and then gets moved into the enemy team. And just kind of dies. Okay, X-Flash gets him over the wall here as Aiming's trying to get these minions as best he can, but the Impale's once again going to come down. Owner is just going to heroically charge his way out of there, though, as Vikla does go golden. Owner's still alive somehow, as Rascal is a brick wall in the front line. He gets hooked back once again as the Keria show has began, and the Scion will be taken down. Fumusha says thanks for that kill. But now Zeus and Faker in a little bit of trouble. Nah, not going to quite find the wallet value there because, pardon me, lock down that kill, and then Cuz is immediately going to go down. Zeus, once again, the sacrificial nah, but T1 this time will trade up.
They're not aiming away, he can't follow up. Like, he actually cannot chase them there. He looked extremely immobile in this fight. He's able to get over the wall there, extend a beam, and chase down 3 players who are essentially dead there. He'll grab 2 extra kills probably. Unfortunately, he's not able to do so. Cuz isn't able to actually lock anybody down there. He dies at the end of all things. And it feels like even in the best possible fight here for KT, they just cannot pull it together. And you can really see some of the weak points of this draft in terms of how this Skarner operates these skirmishes when T1 are the ones setting up these fights. Is Lantern's used early here, so I think that's part of why you're like, okay, we're going to actually chase, we're going to press the go button here as Owner lives for so long. Scion swings around. This is a beautiful play from Rascal to try to trap them here, but there's just so much tankiness in CC. It's just hard to trade up here. Look at another Lantern comes through. Guma kind of trolled Faker there on that one.
Yeah.
But Faker's like, no, I'm going to taunt him in the choke, and then watch what happens to Aiming here. He's just completely zoned out, so the rest of T1 can escape. Owner knocks him away, so he can't actually follow through, and then Cuz is just left out to dry. T1, their team fighting is just amazing. Doesn't matter how good of a choke point control you think you have, you are just not going to catch up to this team.
Just insane. Having a look at this one from Owner's perspective,
40 health.
somehow manages to survive and then gets his ulti is what perfectly aligned for when Aiming gets his ult back up again.
Yeah. Gets taunted, of course, by Faker's, you know, catching them there on the choke point. Here comes his ult. By Aiming. That's all he needed to do to make sure the rest of the team can take out the Skarner and back out. Beautifully played. If he gets hit by one more auto and dies, I think this fight looks completely different.
No, I agree. It was very, very well played there by T1, and this is what I was sort of alluding to when we were talking about that first fight, how KT was going to actually be able to come together and make this comp work. And unfortunately, it just didn't, as T1 now have approximately a 2,000 gold lead. That will be eased a little, as Vikla should be able to take down this top outer turret. Faker is not super psyched about it, but still not going to be able to stop it. Is okay, ghosting forward here is Vikla. Does get the Rune Prison down. Faker taking a lot of damage. The minion wave actually helping Vikla out here as Faker has to use his Zonyas. There's the Realm Warp as Vikla is going to get knocked out of that one. He's gonna, die on his own terms, but it's a 1-for-1 in the end. As Amy's doing a bit of work here to beat out terms, otherwise not doing.
You're fishing so hard, Vikla, for this one, and he has Realm Warp available, so the idea is, okay, I'm just going to Realm Warp out, like Blue Guy's still looking at Faker, but Faker just looks at you and knocks you out of your Realm Warp, and you're fighting and forcing from the turret. He could have just been happy to walk away, and would have been way better off for it. His Terry's going to take a ton of damage, and this is going to be a Drake given over to KT, but this is what we were talking about with T1 evening up the Drakes and just escaping and getting away with it means they bought so much extra time. Like, this is not KT now threatening Hextech Soul. They're just sitting on 2 Drakes, so it feels way better now for T1.
As KT, now with Rascal that has, his Crossfire Gauntlet completed, he's got 3,000 health, he's starting to become that brick wall, as they will just be able to walk up to this outer turret in the mid lane and take it down, catching T1 on reset just a little bit, as they do have vision control in the Baron area, not exactly a whole lot, as this control will be taken down, and now T1's going to back there and sort out their vision. Let's have a look at this play one more time from Vikla.
I mean, he gets the turret, loses his crown early. If Faker, okay, we might have something happening live. We might have to jump back out of this one.
Yeah, we may have to.
But anyway, Faker
trying to frontline.
Faker just knocks him out of his realm, which is the most critical part of this. Is a Scion ultimate is wasted, I believe, there in live, and it's traded for Guma's ult. As yeah, just knocked out of his realm warp. Zayas comes over for the assist.
And Cuz might now be in a little bit of trouble, but no, he is going to be able to secure the Rift Stuffer and keep himself alive. As Vikla on his blue buff. Does have flash, so he's not going to be dying right now. Hits the juke beautifully to Carrier, as now Vikla feeling a bit silly for not flashing earlier. Zaya's going to take a lot of damage though, as aiming's going to turn up. Picks up his first kill, now Ona's next on the menu. Gumushi decides that he just doesn't want to be in the fight, as it's a double for the Zeri. Make it a triple, and make that a Baron on top.
And Guma is just, he cannot be here. It's too risky for him to be here. He's on a low range of Aphelios, so doesn't have an ultimate, so he's over on the side, and they go a little bit too deep here, trying to grab a pick, and yeah, Vikla, he flashes the hook, he survives, it's even better for them. But either way, they're just caught as they're too far forward there in a choke point where aiming is going to get so much value, and now money out of this team fight. As T1 looks to try to get a pick to set up for Baron. They had complete control of the choke point starting out, but they didn't have to force this. Now Guma's going to play a greedy move down here and grab the inhibitor turret, which is going to be a lot of money into his pocket as well. Can he escape? I think the answer will be yes.
They are on control vision, but it is just going to be KT electing to go back home, buy some items. That is 3 for the Rise. So we're going to have a look at this fight one more time, and man, Carrier's hooks have just been amazing, even if they do ultimately lose this game.
Well, I mean, look, Vikla probably should have flashed that, but the fact that he didn't actually buy enough time for aiming to come over here, they have the Yuumi ult in the choke, so it's a double root. Look at Rascal with a follow-up CC, and aiming is untouched. Guma is so far away. And T1 were not ready for a team fight. They were ready for a pick, but they were like, all right, well, we were looking for a pick, and we were going to kite back to Baron. If they had just started Baron, they would have had the choke point in their favor, would have been able to stop KT from snowballing through. So I think a bit of a decision-making here, a little bit of greed from T1 there, trying to force that play. As great of a hook as it was from Carrier, like you said, definitely backfiring. Now the gold is fairly even, and KT should be able to pull ahead with this Baron block.
No, absolutely. I think it's a huge drag point, because remember, this is the Zeri angle. And now KT getting very, very close towards a gold advantage. Man, if that was just a pick on Vikla and then T1 managed to get control of the Baron and take that one down, I think that that is 100% the point where they win the game.
Yeah.
But the aiming factor comes in. Remember, this guy was 5-0 on the Zeri. Not only is Zeri extraordinarily strong just in general, but aiming pretty good at being reliable in the late game on this champion. Now has his 3 items completed.
They're caught with the Yuumi and the Scion in choke points like that, when you funnel in as T1, like, they're just giving KT all of their comp strengths all in one pretty, nicely wrapped up package, and putting a bow on top of it and saying like, all right, well, now you're 5-0-2 aiming, 700 gold bounty on your head, and T1 with this Baron buff against them won't be able to wrap around, won't be able to set up flanks, won't be able to look for a Galio taunt angle here for Faker, who's falling significantly far behind in experience.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yeah, this is the siege angle for Zeri as well, which is pretty big.
Yeah, extended beam is a pretty silly ability. Or electro-shock cannon, if you want me to use the correct term.
Nobody wants you to use
I
that.
won't use that ever again. Even though it does sound kind of cool.
Somebody said
casually sidestep.
Somebody said Avengerang on Sunday.
That was me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know it's very silly. I should have just stuck to the heroic swing, right? And come up with what a great name for an yeah, Akshan is a little bit split when it comes to cool names. Gumushi is out of the fight if there is one.
And Faker, I mean, he's got teleport, but there's no wards for him to go on. Minus the one, of course, on the river there to the left side, which is now going to be cleared up. But besides that, like, if you lose control of the map against this Zeri, who has 3 items now, going to get a 4th one fairly soon, it's a problem. And now it's sold points, so the sign you bought earlier doesn't matter as much anymore. And the win conditions here for T1 are too complex. They have to win a perfect team fight. They have to punish KT. They have to somehow lock this Zeri down. He has cleanse. Because he has cleanse available and the tails, by the way. Plus, he's going to do it. So a lot of resources committed here in terms of itemization to make sure that Amy cannot be picked. Because there's Taunt, there's hooks from Carrier, there's Zayas with his Gnar, there's Owner, of course, who's running off into a wall. So many ways to shut that down now, and while he has tons of flash available and the items he has and control over the map, like, your win conditions thin out. All KT need to do is watch over their shoulder to make sure there's no Galio flank.
Yeah.
That's the main concern of theirs right now.
And you can see as well, Knight's Vow has been completed for the Skarner, so you were thinking, you know, that he was just an Impale bot. Not anymore. Also opting in for a bit of assistance to the Zeri.
It's not fair they can have two supports in this game.
I know. But they do, and that is definitely good news because Cuz in the last game, not exactly getting as much value. 2 minutes now on the Baron, 4 minutes on the Drake. KT with control of the map for now, but T1 with a bit of respite now that the Baron is down. Problem is that these extendos are just hitting for so much damage. You do have the Lord Dominance coming in pretty quickly as well for aiming.
Yeah, and also, you know, like last game, they itemized for the Force of Natures here. And the Rise obviously is going to be doing a lot of damage later on in the game too. Like, that's a big problem, so you kind of have to itemize against this, but there's no Randuin's for Zeus or anything like that, so even he just gets deleted. He makes teams like so quickly when the focus is down. You can't itemize against most supreme late game damage. It goes to a supreme late game, but it comes with a hefty price. The value we saw against the Magic game last game was much larger because Zeri wasn't this fat, wasn't this far ahead. Now feels kind of worthless.
Yep, and aiming is definitely, you know that he's the main character now because he just took a blue buff right in front of the Rise, who would have very much liked it himself, but no, aiming just needs all of the things to make him strong that he can find. He's hit those 4 items that we were talking about earlier, even has a couple of control wards to augment that, and KT will now just try and suffocate vision around this Baron and play it by the book. T1 will need to be able to find themselves a big play to get this one working for them. Rascal does have his shield removed now. This battle is going to take a very long time. But Zeus, with his hyper procs, might be able to get the work done. Decides to stop Rascal here as he hops over the top. Not going to quite find the Q is Rascal, but he still has enough of the health bar to get back towards his turret.
With Black Cleaver here, unfortunately, Rascal, there is no Q and of course, the wave here sets out goes. Like, he is not, in mini-Nar form, he's actually arguably way more dangerous. So, in fact, which sidesization against this, you know, really tanky Scion, but it's not tanky enough. So you can push away. This gives an angle here for Zeus. He does have his Gnar bar available. If KT get caught by him here, it could be a disaster. That is definitely one way to win this game, straight up. Zeus is Gnar bar, man.
Well, Amy's just diving forward. Vega has to go golden immediately, and the ulti does nothing from Ona, but the Lantern placement was fantastic. Now Zeus trying to get himself out, but does so with a hop into crush combo. And KT, they have control of the river, but T1 keep everyone alive.
Now T1 need to rush back over here and deny this if they're going to contest. Unfortunately, they just won't have a Gnar bar here for Zeus. He does have teleport. He's going to try to actually get it on the bottom side of the map and come back. He's not going to back.
Oh, aiming. Dear. Carrier is going to land the hook onto aiming, but he is just going to die for it. They did need to check this. Zeus is on the bottom side. He does have teleport, but I don't think that he's going to be able to do anything to try and get over here and stop this Baron. It's going to be the second one going to KT unless Ona can get in there and make this one happen. He does have the flash. He gets into the pit, but he's way too early. They didn't have the vision available. He had to try and take a gamble, and aiming's just going to be able to pick up the kill. Inner turret goes down, but that is not quite enough to even out the trade here as KT will take their second Baron.
KT's comp is so oppressive when they have a lead, and we saw one of the main reasons why, in fact, KT were able to start the Baron off and actually get a proper team fight, or like deny a proper team fight because they had so much control of the map, was because of the fact that Rascal is just sitting down there and Zeus is trying to side lane against them, but they are not grouped up. And the one part of the map they had control was bottom side, where they're looking to maybe take the turret out. KT were way better grouped up, had the insane wave clear to siege mid. They're like, yeah, okay, Scion is going to lose half his health bar, but he's fine, he's got teleport. So Rascal will show up at a moment's notice. Zeus has it as well here, but he's so reliant on his Gnar bar. Without it, they cannot team fight. Once again, it's going to be used here early, so this is a really tough fight to take for T1, but they have to.
Well, in comes the train as the Realm Walk's going to come over as well as Rascal almost gets on.